Thanks for the opportunity to speak here at ARTtech. I'm the co-founder of Shark Punch, a new studio. And I remember the first time I was here at Assembly was probably in the mid-90s, so a lot of great memories. Shout out to Jussi and Pehu once again for making this happen, and also for Sonia and Natalia for organizing this seminar. So today I want to talk to you about our Greenlight campaign for the Masterplan, how it was successful and some of the decisions we made. And hopefully there are people here who are planning to go forward with their own Greenlight campaign, and you can learn something from what we learned. A few words about Shark Punch. 4 co-founders, Jiri, Leo, Arne, and myself. We all worked together previously at a company called Rocket Pack, which got acquired by Disney in 2011. We stayed together, worked at Disney for 3 years, and now we're back in the startup scene, back in the indie scene, making another new game studio. We're fully independent, and we're owned by the founders. We're self-funded at the moment. And we're a transatlantic gaming company. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we have operations both in San Francisco and in Helsinki. And we're all about distributed work, so we learned a lot about that in our Disney days, working with a 10-hour time difference. It's all good for us. We don't do AAA games. We're not into mid-core either. We're into games that offer deep and engaging gameplay in a very streamlined package. Currently building for Mac, PC, and Linux, but looking at iOS and Android soon. We're still pretty small, but we're looking to grow in the next couple of months. And outside of game development, we're very interested in solving the following problems that we see developers facing. Early concept validation is something we're looking at, and that means we're looking at lean game development, and that means we want to validate all the game ideas we have, all of the projects from a very early stage on, and validate them from external sources, from actual game players. And that's one thing we're looking at, and that's a part of the story why we went to Greenlight as well. We're interested in discovery. I think that's a huge problem now for indies. Digital marketplaces all have infinite inventory, so the shelves are full, so to speak. Game development tools have been democratized, so that leads to a lot of supply in the marketplace. So you need better discovery mechanisms to get your game out there. And the last thing we're really interested in solving in the long run is owning that customer relationship. Currently, especially on the mobile side, I think developers have ceded that relationship to the platform holders, and that means Google and Apple. And I think developers need to get that back to own their own customers and be able to market to them directly. So we're actively thinking about these problems outside of our own game development, and I'll have soon something to share with you guys concerning that. So the concept validation part is important, and this is why we wanted to go to Greenlight. Obviously, also we want to use Steam as a distribution platform, and we need to go through Greenlight nowadays to get to Steam. But it's also a place where we can validate our game idea, our game concept. Does it have that kind of traction with gamers? Do gamers say they want to see that game on Steam or not? And it ties to the fact that I think more indie developers should look at validating their concepts at a very early level. Let's say you have a game concept, you have some kind of concept art out. Just put it out there to the community, measure reactions, measure social media engagement, measure analytics. Choose your own metrics that you want to look at, but make sure you make those decisions at an early stage. I think from indie developers, I think Vlambeer from Holland does this really well. They put out their prototypes at a very early stage, and if people like them, they start to develop that into a whole game. I think this is important for indie studios not to spend an infinite amount of time on an idea that maybe nobody wants. And this continues, of course, to prototypes as well, get feedback from that, and until the whole product life cycle. I think this is an important part. It is not the same as a soft launch. You might have heard of a soft launch, especially on the mobile side, where a game gets launched 6 to 12 months before it actually gets launched, and it gets launched in a geo-gated area, let's say. They only launch it in Finland or in New Zealand. But that's different from early concept validation, because at that stage you've already spent maybe 12 months working on that game. And at that stage, you can't really change the core gameplay anymore. It is what it is. The game is what it is. You can, at that stage, when you get feedback from players, you can juice it up, as Petri Purho likes to say. You can tweak certain parameters, but it's very hard to reimagine the whole game at that point. So how does one validate game concepts early? Well, there are a few ways to do it, and we would have liked to do it even earlier with Masterplan, but there were not too many tools or platforms to do it with. You can use forums like TIG forums, the independent gaming forums. That's one way to get feedback from a very early concept stage, but that doesn't have the scale of users you might want to actually gauge if there's true traction for your idea and true demand. So we decided to go with Greenlight. And actually Greenlight is even if you wouldn't want to release on Steam, it's still a very good platform to gauge player interest, because you're not obligated to launch your game on Steam even though you go through Greenlight, at least not exclusively. And so even if you had a mobile game, you could in theory use Greenlight just to validate your idea. Do people give you a thumbs up? They want to see that game made, or do they give you a thumbs down? They're not interested. So that's a innovative use for that. Obviously, we wanted to distribute through Steam, so that was another part why we decided to do the Greenlight. So a few words about the game we had out there. The Masterplan, it's a 2D heist game themed in the 1970s. Draws inspiration from classic turn-based games and 70s heist movies. And the objective is to put together the best crew, get the best equipment, and execute the biggest heists ever. The game has a physics-driven world, plus some pretty cool AI stuff, which more often than not leads to cool emergent gameplay situations. We also have a real-time pause, a la FTL. That's when things get really bad during your heists and you want to slow down the action a bit, make it more tactical. You can do a pause and think your strategy again and then continue with the game. So that's the product. And we had some expectations concerning Greenlight. We read a lot of articles about it, and you can Google them. There's a lot of write-ups about, going through Greenlight. We have our own blog post about it as well. You can read online. And granted, here, I mean, the Greenlight process has changed a lot during the last 12 months or 6 months or so. Valve is now allowing more titles than ever with a quicker pace. I think they, when we got through, they had approved like 150 games in 4 weeks or something. So it's changed from the early days. But we read a lot. We did some research, and here's what we found out. So in order for us to get through Greenlight, we'd probably need to actively engage the community. Makes sense, right? So through comments and through updates via the Greenlight platform, you can engage with your fans, and that's something you need to actively do. Then we thought that's probably not going to be enough. So we'd probably need some game media, some social media coverage, maybe YouTuber coverage, blogger coverage, what we can to further leverage our position in Greenlight. Collections are interesting in Greenlight. You can do your own collections if you're a Steam user of Greenlight games, and you can make them public. And some of them are really popular, like the IndieDB ones. And we thought we should get included in several of those collections in order for us to get through that process. And then, since we were doing this at the end of June, what's happening on Steam at the end of June? Summer sales, right? So how would the summer sale affect our Greenlight campaign? Would it drive more traffic? Or would anybody be interested in, you know, a small indie game in Greenlight when you can get XCOM or DayZ for just a few bucks? So that was a big question mark for us. So armed with that, all that knowledge, we researched, we came up with a plan, and the plan had a few key ingredients to it. And those were, we needed a great icon. Now, this is something that, especially if you've done mobile development, you know, because this is the same as you had when you had physical retail. This is your box cover of your product. Basically, that's the first thing that users see, and if it's not an engaging icon, you're probably not going to do as well as you might if you had a good one. We learned this at Disney when I worked there for a couple of years. They spent a lot of time and a lot of marketing effort in figuring out which icons work the best in their Facebook games and their mobile games. And it's weird like that, but it is what it is. Then we also knew we would need a funky trailer just to showcase the key gameplay elements we had and also establish the theme, because we had a pretty special theme with the whole 70s vibe, which is not common. So we really needed to hit that trailer and hit the right notes for people to understand what the game is about. And also, we needed to keep a close eye on, you know, how we're doing in terms of engagement, and see if we actively need to promote the game via the channels we had. Now, bear in mind, we weren't that far in our development that we could have put a demo out there. Of course, you can have a demo already and just let people play that and then give their thumbs up or thumbs down. We weren't that far. We weren't, but the way we saw it, that we wanted to establish a great trailer, and, you know, just the visual aspect of our game was very important in our campaign. So the icon, as I said, it's very important. It's probably what most people only see if they don't decide to click on your page. So that's our icon, right? Badass 70s gangster smoking, crazy suave suit. That's great. But we realized one thing: you could use animated GIFs as well as an icon. And we took a look at some of the games that had gone through, and they had a lot of that animated GIF stuff. So if I just quickly jump to, let's see if I can get this. Let's see. No. Okay. Okay, it doesn't work. So I would have liked to show you how does a collection look on Steam. No worries. But the icon is the thing that you'll see, and that's a very important part of it. Then the trailer is another thing. So, as I said, we wanted to showcase gameplay, atmosphere, and theme, and to have a lot of humor. So let's see if I can get the trailer running for you guys. Can tech guys help me out? It's a cool trailer. You probably want to see this. This is autism. Okay, yeah, cool. Okay. Demo effect. All right. So that was it. Cool. So that, that music clearly hit a sweet spot and captured that 70s vibe quite well, and we got a lot of positive feedback on the trailer. And we're lucky to have talented musicians working with us. Big shout out to Viljami and Jukka for that funky music. So then, at that stage we had everything ready for our campaign, and we were ready to submit. We were smack in the middle of Pocket Gamer conference in Helsinki, and in between meetings, we just pressed send, we submitted. That's a picture of us submitting it at Vanha Satama in June. So when your game goes live, what happens then? Well, when you push your game to Greenlight, suddenly you start refreshing your Steam game page every 2 minutes. Let me tell you that. Even on your phone, it's not a great experience using Steam on your phone, but you're going to do it because you want to see, how is my game doing? And we spent the next few days just refreshing, and the initial stats started looking pretty good from the get-go. So what we saw right away was the ratio of yes or no votes was very high. The average for top 50, what we read, was 46% positive, and we had 69% from the beginning. So, on Greenlight, it's just thumbs up or thumbs down, or you can say, I'll tell you later, but nobody really uses that option. We got almost 10,000 visitors to our game page in the first few days. So in itself, it really looked like Greenlight was a pretty powerful media to drive traffic. But obviously, what happens every time is the amount of new visitors, it starts to drop after the initial boosts. So here's a look at a pie chart. That's the final result after the Greenlight campaign. So 69% said yes, please. 31 said no, thanks, and ask me later was not even registered. I think there were a few. Here's a look at the amount of new visitors is the yellow one. So you can see it spikes very, very steeply up in the beginning, and then it plummets down. But we were able to keep that pretty flat until the time we got Greenlit, so that wasn't too bad. The yellow line is new visitors per day. The white line is all votes, and the green line is yes votes. So just to give you a sense of the timeline with these speech bubbles, that's when we went live. Then after the initial traffic started dying down, we started using our own social media channels for a while to try to at least, well, not boost that up. We didn't succeed, but at least try to not have a steep decline. On June 22nd, 5 days after we launched, we got into the top 100, and that's when we knew we'd probably get Greenlit the next time Valve put in batches. And we got a nice article on Rock, Paper, Shotgun, but you can see it really didn't matter that much, even though we appreciate them writing about our game. It didn't result in any spikes. And on June 25th, we hit top 30 and we got Greenlit. A funny story is that an hour before we got the email from Valve that we got Greenlit, we started seeing, that the new visitor amount was going down. So, and we wanted to crack the top 10. So we sent out some emails to journalists and YouTubers, like, here's a very early build. If you guys want to play it, we'd appreciate it. And we thought we maybe get, some extra votes that way. And just when I had pressed send to a couple of guys, we got the email from Valve that we got through. So we were Greenlit. And here's another chart from Greenlight. That's the cumulative yes votes. I'm not sure what the scale is. It's weird, but the green one is our yes votes. So that was the trajectory we were on. So victory, that's what the email looks like when you get Greenlit. So, lessons learned. We have some theories on what happened and all of the things that came together. This is more of a gut feeling than actual hard data, because getting that detailed data from Steam is pretty hard. It's still pretty opaque. But we have a strong gut feeling that these were the things that happened. So we really think that Steam prioritizes games that have a higher yes/no ratio than the mean. And there has been speculation about this in certain blogs earlier, because we were warned that the traffic would drop very heavily after the initial spike, and it did drop, but it wasn't like off a cliff. We were able to flat it out. So I think the fact that we had 69% yes votes might have played a part in it. Like I said, having a great icon, preferably a one which is animated, that helps. The theme also. Trailer, if you guys go with a trailer, get some interesting gameplay elements in it. Relay the atmosphere of your game as much as possible. Music is a big part of relaying atmosphere in any game. I think music is very underrated. I think we were lucky to have such cool music with us. The trailer needs to give players an idea on all of the stuff you can do in your game, all of the cool stuff, so they get interested. And the atmosphere thing is very important. Let me give a shout out to Minefield Games, who came out with an incredibly cool VR trailer for their new game, Poland, 2 days ago. And I think that trailer was perfect in relaying their atmosphere. So that's a very important part. A cool original theme always helps. Who wouldn't want to play a game about robberies in the 70s, right? But people vote for originality more often than not, especially on Greenlight, where the supply is endless and there's a lot of, I don't know, clone type games. I mean, everybody's doing a roguelike fantasy game at the moment, so an original theme might help you out, at least to give you some kind of an early interest. Oh, and the summer sale thing. Well, I think it actually helped us, because Steam they came out with a piece of information that they broke their concurrent user record this summer. They had 8 million users logged in at the same time. So probably some of those users also trickled down to our Greenlight page. So the summer sale, which we saw as a threat or a scary thing, I think it actually helped us. That's just to think about the timing of your campaign. And this is interesting. The category selection, we think that matters. So even though our game was only partially action, it's one of the genres where I think our game belongs to. We definitely wanted to include that category in our description, since we think that we've seen evidence to point out that a lot of Steam players look at the action category. So when you submit your game, make sure you check all the boxes that your game actually, like all the categories it should belong to, because that matters. Now, Greenlight, this was a fantastic experience for us, but it has some problems as well. And let me just talk a little bit about them. Well, not to talk bad about any other developers, but there's some pretty poor concepts and games out there on Greenlight, which leads to the fact that there's a lot of noise. So finding the gems in that noise might prove to be a bit challenging. There are no detailed analytics. Everything is very opaque. You can integrate Google Analytics in your game page, but it doesn't show, for example, traffic sources. So we had no way to gauge on, for example, the rock, paper, shotgun article that we got, that they wrote about us. Like, how many visitors did we get through that source? Just couldn't do it. And then because we have the trailer embedded in the game page, those didn't count as YouTube views. So I think our YouTube views for that trailer are understated by 15 or 20,000 or so. So that's bad. There's no social graph. There's no social media integration within your game page or within Steam. It's still very much a walled garden. by design, obviously, from Valve's standpoint. But I would like to see, what do people in my social circles play? I mean, if I follow that guy on Twitter, what is he playing on Steam? Is he recommending this game on Greenlight and stuff like that? So you can't do any of that stuff at the moment. And then the marketing tools are very limited, so I can't really connect with my fans on Greenlight. I can see that how many people have favorited my game. I can see how many are following my game, but I don't know which people they are. I have no idea on who's actually favoriting or following. I can see just the aggregate numbers, but no way of reaching them. So, I mean, it could be better, but it's for this experiment that we ran and for our goals, it was perfect. But we'd like to make this better. So, you want good news? Well, we want to build something better. So I think you should stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. I mean, we'll have some ideas on how to improve some of the stuff we've talked about today. All right. Oh, hey, one more thing. I guess you guys know about Ludum Dare. It's going to be held in 3 weeks. It's a global hackathon. Make a game during a weekend. And we're planning to organize a live event around that in Helsinki. That's going to be from Friday the 22nd to Sunday the 24th of August. I don't have more info. This is just a teaser. But make sure you follow us on Twitter or hit me up or sign up for our mailing list, and we'll let you know pretty soon on what's going to happen. So if you guys are interested in joining that hackathon during the weekend later this month, please join us, and we'll have more info for you guys very soon. All right. Well, thank you very much. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here for you.
Hi. So I wanted to ask you, so you were saying about how like the analytics in Steam are quite opaque, and I agree. I mean, the information that you get is very, very limited.
Yes.
I know that like bigger companies like Rovio, they run pretty sophisticated. They have like pretty sophisticated analytics like within the game. So, but can you tell, for example, like for you guys, you're obviously a bit smaller outfit. So, is it feasible for you to integrate something into your game software and like maybe get some more information, how much people play through, like what do they do, where they stop, and then maybe get some more information regarding, for example, like why does it drop off at some point?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. So, what is weird is the whole analytics and metrics thing is very much a mobile thing at the moment. Almost every mobile developer uses that. I mean, has very detailed metrics about their game usage and user acquisition and stuff like that. And there's a wide array of different services you can use for mobile, but for PC there are not many. So I mean, for a PC developer, you're most likely building some sort of your own analytics stack. So then that becomes hard if you have a small team. You should definitely use that. You should definitely measure stuff. But what I'm saying with Steam Greenlight is not even talking about actual like how do people play that game, but just how does that. I mean, when you're at that stage when you're just trying to get like a thumbs up or a thumbs down for your concept or your trailer or your demo, you can't even see. In that context, you can't see from where are people coming from. Are they coming through Twitter or look, Polygon wrote a great article about us. How many views, how many visitors did that drive to our page? So I'm talking about that sort of opaqueness. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Rovio, well, any successful mobile developer, their bread and butter is analytics and metrics, and I hope that PC developers will follow. I mean, it's if your game design is also only based on tweaking your spreadsheets, I don't see that as a cool thing at all. I think you need some sort of creativity around it. But that's not to say you shouldn't measure. Anybody else? No? Okay, well, if you guys have any questions you want to ask me direct after, I'll be here, and thank you very much.